Welcome to the first video in a series on how to do woodworking. On the screen you'll see various items made of wood. The woodworking field is a vast one, and those items only represent a small number of the types of things that I have made in wood over many years. In this series it is my intention to show various methods and techniques that are used to create things in wood. As I said, it's a vast field, and at this stage I don't know how many videos it will take to cover what I want to do, but this is the first one, and it'll be on measuring and marking, which is a critical part of woodworking. You must be able to mark and measure things accurately. And once again, welcome to this series, and I hope you learn a lot from it and you're able to improve your woodworking, or if you're starting from scratch you'll be able to learn how to make things in wood, which is a very satisfying experience. The most basic of all measuring tools are rulers. In this video you'll see I have 6 rulers. From the front there's a straight wooden ruler, and then a folding wooden ruler, and then there are 4 stainless steel rulers from 150mm up to 300, then 500, and finally a metre. All these rulers have their place and are used at different times, and the most accurate being the stainless steel rulers because of their thinness and the ability to mark very accurately against them. Next we have expanding tapes, and here you'll see 3 that I use. A small one which is 2 meters, the green one, the center one is 5 meters, and the bigger one is 8 meters. The 2 smaller ones are actually in my car, and I use them when I'm not in the workshop visiting hardware shops or timber merchants to get rough measurements of things. The larger one I use in the workshop. However, I don't use expanding tapes for accurate work. That's what I use the smaller tapes, or rather the line tapes for, not expanding ones. And however, expanding tapes do have their use, particularly for getting rough measurements of things. Expanding rods can be useful in various situations, particularly with on-site work where you're measuring across a doorway or the height of a doorway. In this situation it's difficult to use an expanding tape because you can't accurately measure from one side or to the other, or from top to bottom, because of the way the tape is. In this case an expanding rod can be stretched between the two, and then a tape used to measure the actual distance. These ones are ones I've made myself. They consist of a bit of 1-inch steel section with a screw, or rather a little bolt with a wing nut on it, which tightens up on the pieces of timber in the center, and one piece is fixed to that metal sleeve, and the other one can be moved. At the end they are cut at an angle so that they'll fit nicely into a corner. As I said, there's 3 sizes there to cover the measurements that I would want to take. They can also be used in a workshop to make sure that a piece is square after it's been made, whether it be a drawer or a frame. Going from corner to corner and then comparing across the 2 corners will give you an accurate measurement of whether the box or frame is square. On the screen you'll see a mixture of dividers and gauges. The 2 bottom items are dividers. They're usually used as drawing instruments, but they can be used to get accurate measurements on pieces that you're trying to either cut or to measure for comparison. Once you've got that measurement, you compare it to a ruler. The 2 center pieces are gauges, and they're used in wood turning predominantly, and the one on the left is an external gauge and the one on the right an internal. And at the top we have a template gauge, which consists of a multitude of fingers which are pushed onto the piece you're trying to find the shape of. In this case it's actually a knob, a triangular knob, and then you can draw it from there or measure it, whichever you want. But in some instances there is no other way to get the shape of that piece but to use a template gauge. It's not something that I use often, but it can be useful at times. The final group are verniers, both digital and analog, and a depth gauge, which is digital. Now these instruments are very, very accurate, particularly the digital ones. Although the analog ones are accurate, it's just they're not so easy to read, whereas the digital ones of course are. And you'll see in the verniers that there are 4. At the bottom, a plastic one. The next one up is an analog as well, as same as the plastic one, but it is metal. And then there's a 150mm digital and a 300mm digital. And the depth gauge on the right is made out of plastic and is used predominantly, in my case, for setting the height of the saw above the table when I'm cutting a groove or something like that, where I want to control the actual depth of cut. Having covered measuring tools, we'll now move on to marking tools. Having measured accurately, of course, you've got to be able to mark accurately. And on the screen you'll see the various marking tools that I use. The most common one, of course, is a pencil, and to the right is a red carpenter's pencil. Not really designed for particularly accurate work, but it is useful if you're just marking something before you cut to length roughly. The next one is the pencil I use most often, is a normal stationary type pencil. I use 2 types, the HB and the 2B. The HB has a harder point and therefore can be sharpened more accurately, and therefore can mark more accurately. The 2B is softer, is easier to remove than the HB. Then you'll find 3 marking knives. These can do much more accurate marking than a pencil because of the sharp point, and they are beveled. One is beveled, the first one's beveled towards the centre, both ways towards the centre. The others are beveled on one side, come to a point on one side, and obviously the flat side is used against the point, against the instrument you're marking from, whether it's a ruler or a square. And then you'll see 2 spikes. These spikes are used to accurately mark the centre of holes where I will drill a hole. It's marked, the point is marked with a pencil first, and then the spike is pushed into the timber, and it obviously gives a very, very good position point for drilling a hole. On the top layer, the first to the left, is a bevel gauge. This can be used to measure an existing bevel or to mark for cutting a new bevel. And then there are 2 metal dovetail markers. They are the 2 sizes, 1 to 8 and 1 is to 6, which is for softwoods and hardwoods respectively. Beside them are 2 plastic dovetail gauges doing the same thing. And then above you've got 2 squares, the standard square, the bigger square, which is most commonly used, and then beside it the smaller engineer square, which I'm more often use particularly for small items because it's very easy to handle and it gives a very, very accurate measuring point. And that covers marking tools. In the final segment of this video, I'd like to show some drawing instruments. At the top left hand side is a set of compasses and dividers which are used to accurately draw items or measure them, and beside that is a set of French curves, not so well known in woodworking, but they're very important if you want to draw curves of different radii. Underneath that is a flexible rod. That too allows to be moved into various shapes to create various designs. In the center is a It has a combination of ruler and different curves, as well as a set square. And finally, at the bottom of the two most common set squares, the 45-45-90 and the 30-60-90. All these items are useful when you're drawing designs, and they're highly recommended if you want to do accurate designs. Now this completes part 1 of a series on how to do woodworking. I trust you found it interesting and informative. In part 2, I'll start to explore how some of these instruments are used to measure and mark, and increase your knowledge as you start your woodworking career or as you develop your woodworking skills. Thank you for joining me.